Hi guys, we're Sarah and Callum and we're going to take you through the ultimate guide to the Ha Giang Loop.
This is Ha Giang, Vietnam, home to one of the most incredible motorbike adventures in the world. In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know about the Ha Giang Loop, from the unforgettable mountain passes to insider tips for your trip.
If you're looking for the adventure of a lifetime, then you've come to the right place.
Whether you want an easy rider or a self-drive experience, or maybe you're thinking, what the hell is an easy rider? Either way, we'll help you choose the right option and get you prepared for this epic motorbike tour. So let's dive right in.
Okay, so for those of you that are unsure what the Ha Giang Loop is, here's a breakdown of everything that you need to know. The Ha Giang Loop is a 350-kilometre motorbike route that winds through the northernmost region of Vietnam, right along the border with China. So what makes this ride so special? Well, it's one of the most rugged and scenic areas in the entire country. Imagine dramatic limestone mountains, deep valleys, and the kind of untouched landscapes that you won't find anywhere else.
This place has become a must-do for adventure travellers. You might have seen that the roads may be challenging, but every twist and turn reveals something awesome. Whether it's the towering cliffs, rivers, or small villages tucked into the hills, the Ha Giang Loop really gives you an authentic taste of Vietnam's natural beauty and culture. And it's not just about the scenery. Along the way, you'll encounter local ethnic groups, giving you a unique glimpse into northern Vietnam's culture.
If you're planning to visit Vietnam, then the Ha Giang Loop has got to be on your list. It's honestly one of the best things that we did while we were in Vietnam.
Alright, so what can you expect from the Ha Giang Loop motorbike tour? The Ha Giang Loop is a motorbike tour that takes a minimum of 3 days to complete, but if you want to, you can opt for a 4-day option which explores other areas in more detail. Another option, if you're more adventurous, is to go solo and do the Ha Giang Loop without a guided tour and drive a motorbike yourself. But if you're new to riding a motorbike or just want to take the stress out of navigation, a guided tour is the way to go, and that's exactly what we did. Now let's talk about the ride itself. The roads are a mix. Some of them are smooth, others have really tight corners, and sometimes you'll be on narrow dirt paths, so you'll definitely want to feel comfortable on a motorbike if you decide to drive yourself.
So whether you want to drive a motorbike yourself, or if you want to take the easy rider option, is something that you're going to have to decide before you do a Ha Giang Loop tour. An easy rider option means that you can simply enjoy the ride while being driven by an experienced local. It is the more expensive option, but that is the case for every single tour company. But in our opinion, it was definitely worth it just to be able to fully appreciate the scenery. It was also really nice not to worry about the road conditions or focus on driving.
Regardless of whether you have an easy rider or not, you'll drive through some of the most jaw-dropping scenery in all of Vietnam. One of the highlights is the Ma Pi Pass, which is known as one of the most beautiful mountain passes in the country. Just look at this view. You're riding along the edge of these towering cliffs with the river below. It's absolutely unreal.
By joining a tour like we did, you'll be able to travel with others and you won't have to worry about where you're staying each night or the route. There are also plenty of places to stop, rest and take in the views along the way, and you'll pass through small towns with the chance to meet some of the locals too. On all of the Ha Giang Loop tours, the chances are that in the evenings you'll have time to relax with a drink or two, usually Happy Water, which is a local shop that drivers will bring out to you.
In terms of accommodation, that really is dependent on who you book with, which brings us on to our next topic. But before we talk about that, we'd really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button to see more travel tips and inspiration.
Now, when it comes to booking a Ha Giang Loop tour, you might be overwhelmed with the number of companies that you can book with. Most guided tours include your motorbike rental, accommodation and meals, which makes things super easy. And having a guide means you'll learn more about the local culture and history along the way.
One thing you should be aware of though is each company offers a very different experience depending on how you prefer to travel. One of the most popular tour companies is Jasmine Tours, which you've probably heard of. Another one is Bong Tours. But you should be aware that these guided tours are usually very big groups and can definitely attract younger and more party-focused travellers.
Honestly, because of this reason, we almost didn't add the Ha Giang Loop to our Vietnam itinerary. This doesn't mean that the Jasmine or Bong tours should be avoided. But if you're like us and you prefer smaller groups and a more mature crowd, then don't worry because we've got the perfect option.
We wanted a tour option that would be suitable for us as we're a couple, but Jasmine and Bong tend to offer hostel dorm rooms as the type of accommodation that you get with the tour. Don't get me wrong, on some of these tours you can upgrade to a private room, but we wanted to go for a company that was more aimed at couples.
That's why we decided to do the loop with Ha Giang Amazing Tours. They offer private accommodation each night and our group only had 6 people in total. Depending on the season, this can change, but Ha Giang Amazing Tours felt like the best option for us. Also, the food was really good. We had 3 meals included per day and each of them had lots of variety. We highly recommend Ha Giang Amazing Tours, and we've put all of the details that you need to know to book with them in the description.
We're pretty sure that most tours offer a pickup service from Hanoi in order to get to Ha Giang City, but you'll have to check that yourselves. Ours definitely did, and in fact we got a sleeper bus included all the way from Ninh Binh to Ha Giang City. However, on reflection, we definitely recommend going from Hanoi, and we'll touch on that in the next and final part of this video.
But before that, we wanted to share with you how we stay on budget as we travel.
We've created the ideal budgeting spreadsheet to keep track of our spending as we travel. We use it day in and day out to ensure that we always stay on budget and never overspend.
If you think that this could be useful for your Vietnam trip, then we've put a link in the description below.
Now let's get into our top tips for tackling the Ha Giang Loop. Now we just mentioned that you get a transfer to Ha Giang City included in the price of the tour from places such as Ninh Binh and Hanoi. A top travel tip is that we recommend going from Hanoi and not Ninh Binh. This is because it's a shorter journey and you can avoid an overnight bus. We were able to have a bus transfer from Ninh Binh, but this got us in at 4 AM and it was not ideal considering we had an early start to our trip the same morning.
Another important thing to consider is when to visit. The most popular months are from September to November and March to May. This is when the weather is dry and the temperature is comfortable. However, we did our trip at the end of June and the weather was fine. It only rained on one of the days. Because it's off season, this meant that we had a much smaller group, but be aware that Ha Giang can be prone to flooding during the rainy season.
Now, as for what to pack, don't forget layers as the weather can change pretty quickly in the mountains. You'll want to take a small bag with you with everything in it as this will be attached to the motorbike, but we also recommend taking a small bum bag so that you can easily access your phone and your cash when you're on the bike.
Also, you'll want to make sure that you've got a change of clean clothes for the evening, and you'll also want to bring both trainers and flip-flops. And don't forget to bring bug spray with you as the mozzies can be quite bad at night. Especially for someone like me, I always get bitten, so don't forget it.
There's no need to worry about bringing any water with you as the guides will carry all your water on the back of their bikes. And there's plenty of opportunity to buy drinks at cafes along the way. This brings us on to our last tip, and that's to bring lots of cash with you because there's not many ATMs. You can buy souvenirs and treat yourself to coffee or beer at scenic stops, so it's worth having the cash on you.
Last but not least, make sure you take lots of photographs because this is an experience you're not going to want to forget.
So that's it for our ultimate guide to the Ha Giang Loop motorbike adventure. If you find this video useful, then give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more travel videos and adventures.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.